I'm just never going to stay the night at your house. So, the plot thickens, really. From there, I go down to the city archives, and I looked up all the records about that entire city block. And that's one of the really great things about New Orleans, is that they keep incredible records. And I learned that on the spot where that house had been, an entire row of townhouses, prior to 1897, that had been, surprise, surprise, almost like every other building in New Orleans, a brothel. All the way up until the city put regulated prostitution in a district outside of the French Quarter called Storyville. And now you're starting to think, okay, so this is an old cat house. And this would explain a lot of things. Why the present seems so amenable to men, why it seems so catty to women, and why the lawyer intuited that it was a she. Now, that very night, the lawyer gets off work early, sends her beau off to have a couple drinks with the boys, and we get together. We smudge the whole place with sage, burning it in every corner. We burnt some sweetgrass to bring in the good energy, sprinkled Florida water on the entranceways, opened a bottle of wine. We poured 3 glasses, one for each of us, and one for the spirit. We covered all the mirrors, closed all the windows. We burnt a black candle all the way down. Now, once the candle is lit, I initiated a conversation. Basically, spirit, nothing fancy, no Ouija boards, nothing like that. Just saying, spirit, we know you're here, and we're not trying to be in any conflict with you. And just as a sign of our peaceful intent, we brought this glass of wine for you, and we're happy to sit here as the candle burns down, and as we drink this bottle of wine together, for you to impart on us anything that we need to know. And that was basically the last thing I said, because from that point on, the lawyer takes over. She's just talking and talking and talking. It's like, look, I never did anything to you. I didn't even know you were here. I wasn't even convinced that things like you existed. That's how it started. Very, very confrontational, and with not the type of verbiage that the ghost of a of a prostitute from centuries past perhaps would like to be referred to. But after a little while, after the wine kicked in, after the candle burnt down, after she got out all of her frustration, suddenly it gets a little nicer in there. It gets a little warmer in there. And she's like, look, you don't have to go away. This is your home. And if you want to stay, can't we all just be here together? And you tell me what it is that needs to be done for us to be living happily, and I'll do it. We finished the bottle of wine. She said that she felt better already. The next day, she calls me at 8 a.m., and I'm not a morning person. That is not a phone call I normally would have answered, but because it was her, she said that she had had all these dreams that night, after the first good night of sleep, by the way, that she had had in many moons. And in the dreams, she had been guided to set up a little table, just a little thing, in the corner of the bedroom, and to put out some perfume, and put out some makeup, whatever she wasn't going to be using, and to leave a little glass of alcohol from time to time. I learned much later that apparently it wasn't wine that the spirit preferred, but absinthe. And so she would get a glass of absinthe from time to time. And from there on, no more hair pulling, no more being pushed out of bed. Spirit didn't even mess with her man anymore, which is quite important. I think most ladies will agree. Because how can you compete with the ghost of a prostitute? Most women are at a loss, and so this environment just became so much more kind and friendly, and I really emphasize this. I really emphasize the friendliness aspect, because she would come home and she would instantly say hello to the spirit. She would put out the offerings, and she would thank the spirit for letting them live there and live together, and this congenial relationship went on to the point of girlfriends. She told me this funny story where she put out the makeup that she was going to wear for a night out, and she went into the shower. When she came back, the makeup had been pushed to the side, and other colors and other brands had been brought forward. This would normally creep the hell out of people. Something has so clearly been moved from here to there, and other stuff has been brought down. There's nobody else in the house, and you know that it wasn't you. So clearly, something else is happening. But because she knew who it was, she knew what it was. Basically, this was a hooker telling her, oh, honey, your makeup right there is crap. You got to put on something else. You are not going out looking like that. So she took the spirit's advice. She went out, and everybody complimented her. So, to this day, They are living very happily together because I know that the lawyer was offered a very, very lucrative position with a firm in Houston several months ago. But her response was, no, I'm not going to take it. Besides, how could I leave Josie? You see, by this point, they were on a first name basis. And what this story really illustrates is the idea that, when you have even the most stubborn, frightened, and ashamed of people, with the right coaxing, with the proper research, they can take an active role in improving their own lives. And if this is something that I can do more of, especially with a dynamic professional team, exercising the right procedures and the proper amount of compassion, then that's pretty much the dream life. I emphasize life because I myself am in no hurry to become a ghost. So this is Andrew Ward saying thank you for your time from New Orleans, and I hope to hear from you soon.